What's with the little plushy guys, man?
They're just there to be fun.
Oh, well, we're taking these with us.
They're not up for adoption.
I was gonna name mine.
Comfort.
This is Pudding.
They're there just to really.
They're puppets. This is Pudding. Hello, I am Pudding.
Are they puppets?
They are.
In Dragon Ball Z, all of them. And thanks, convincing. There we go. Future Gohan from Dragon Ball Z, Handsome Jack, and Scar, Full Metal Alchemist, and over to you.
Okay. I am David Kaufman. I do the voice of Danny Phantom, Jimmy Olsen. You're like, wow, that didn't sound a whole lot different. They don't. They actually don't. Dexter Douglas from Freakazoid. Was on Maggie, Aldrin, Pesky, various characters like that. Tends to be from like the golden era of animation, before a lot of the 3D stuff came along. I'm kind of an old school fan of like the 2D animation, but that's just me.
And who are you?
My name's Chompy, and I am an alligator. I'm from
Abort.
the swamp.
Abort.
Okay, my name is Kristen McGuire. I am a voice actor / artist. I am most well known as Kachina in Genshin Impact, Jimma in the new Monster Hunter Wilds game. Woo! She's hot, we can all say. Kane in Oshinoko, Malim in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Pity in Pokemon, and also Tatsugiri in Pokemon. If you like sushi looking Pokemon, that's me. I'm all three. Yeah, and I've done other things. I'm from all over the world. I graduated in Romania. I'm not Romanian, I just graduated there. I know that's a follow-up question. But I can't say I'm naked in Romanian, don't ask why. My hobby is drawing. I draw all of my own artwork at my table. If you come to my table, it's all drawn by me. So.
My name's Richard Horvitz. I am the voice of Daggett from the Angry Beavers, Billy from the Billy from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Zim from Invader Zim, and currently Moxie from Hell of a Boss. Oh, and I like to watch TV. What I like to do. I like to binge watch shows. That's what I do.
What's the last show you watched?
Yeah.
The last show we binged was, well, we're currently watching the new Lena Dunham one, but we're not loving it, sorry. You're a Lena Dunham fan. Well, my favorite shows to binge, I watch them over and over, are Breaking Bad, Sopranos, and
I would not have expected your taste to be so serious.
Oh yeah, I love those shows, especially Breaking Bad. I love Nooks.
I find like once a year, I'll watch those shows, and then Better Call Saul right after Breaking Bad.
Yeah, well, the thing that's amazing to me about those two shows is that they exist in the same universe, but the tone is so different between the two shows, which I think is brilliant. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy to think, to have a show like Better Call Saul to be built totally around you, and to have the tone and the comedy and all of that just based on that character. That must be crazy, because he didn't know that when he was doing Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know that. You just think, I'm gonna have fun in this character, and then it just catches on. It's just really, really cool. Yeah, because I always have a a question. You know how they do this person or this person, this group or that group. So people always ask me, Kim or Skylar. Kim.
Oh, no one's saying Skylar, buddy.
Kim.
No one's saying
Skylar. Yeah.
No thanks.
But poor Skylar, it's just because it held up all the fun killing and stuff, right? Because it's like, come on, let him go.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I want to watch My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. That show makes me feel happy.
Hi, how are you?
How do you do, fellow kids?
Hello.
Hello.
We do well, quite well.
My question may be a little on the political side, though I know you just said like what doesn't get people provoked these days, you know, but it's been crossing my mind about how the government has been severely slashing funds across the board to everything, and that includes the arts.
Yes.
And so I know, Richard, you said that you just take your job on a case-by-case basis, but my question was for all of you, how do you go forward with this sort of imposing, dare say, oppressive climate that's going on?
I defy it.
I heard, no joke, that we were about to be invaded by aliens. Have you guys seen the mothership that's coming? I don't have time to think about a whole lot of, yeah, I know it's probably fake, but it could happen. There's so much chaos in the world right now that you kind of, I don't know about you guys, but most of it just bounces off me right now. Maybe that's just Gen Ed talking.
What's your dumb feelings,
I
Tommy?
will, AI is freaking us out.
I
There's
was
so many
just
things
gonna
freaking
bring
us
up,
out.
like,
Yeah.
that is a, that's
You can't-
been
you can't
tough.
obsess on it,
Cutting-
because if
the
you
cutting
do-
of the arts has
Yeah.
been very distressing.
You can't
Yeah.
lend
But
too much
AI
thought to one
situation
thing,
is
right?
really
If you
crazy.
do, then you're gonna just not want to get out of bed, right? So we don't have control over any of that stuff.
Well, for me-
I actually have an answer though.
Well, for me, when the
Nobody's
thing
listening to it.
was, I was just having this conversation with Kristen yesterday, just literally this. Where
Me?
This Kristen.
Oh,
my
sorry.
Wife, my wife Kristen.
I mean, all great creators are named
Yeah,
Kristen.
exactly.
So, you know, it's an easy confusion.
There was this meme going around and this thing going around in more conservative circles that were, I don't need a singer, I don't need an actor, I need a doctor, I need a lawyer, I need an engineer. But that's not really true. You do need art in the world, otherwise you live in a very dark, dark place. And it is just as important to bring medicine through laughter, through joy, through music. So when I see those things beginning to be censored, I get very uptight, and it just, my spines on my back get tight.
Is it because you played a beaver?
It's because I played a beaver. They don't have quills, but yes.
But they have like, they're very spiky.
Yes, they do have a tail that slaps.
Yeah.
And so that does concern me greatly, and I'm keeping my eyes on, especially I'm on a show that's a very LGBTQ plus world with Has Been and Hell of Us, so I'm always keeping my eyes open for censorship. That always very greatly concerns me.
I have an answer to this question. So, thank you, Dameon. Is this about the thing on
It's
the
about
plane?
time you tell us. We've been waiting.
So, I grew up in a very poor part of the country, East Tennessee. And as an artist and somebody who had a really hard childhood, art was the only thing that kind of kept me going. And I was really grateful to the art programs in our school. And so, as an adult, anytime I see something that makes me really mad, which lately is often, I go onto this website called DonorsChoose.org. And it is a charity for schools across America. And you can search by low economic status, you can search by diversity, you can search for what kind of projects you want to fund. So I look for art projects, I look for STEM projects, I look for after-school sports projects, and I look in cities with a need that have, their cities are really poor, and that these programs can make all the difference to these kids. And it'll tell you what they're funding, like maybe they just want a color printer for their math class, or maybe I just did sewing kits for a sewing club. And they'll tell you, this is what we need, this is how much it costs. It has a list of what they need, so it's completely transparent. And you can choose to donate $5, you can choose to fund the whole project. It's often matched by another company. So if the project is, we need $200 for this, if you donate $100 and it's matched, you can fund the project completely. And then you get thank you notes from the teachers, and you get photos of the kids using the stuff. I've seen kids playing with basketballs. I've seen the sewing club sent me handwritten letters telling me that it was like Christmas come early. And it is such a small thing that anybody can do that can help us in a time when things are being defunded. Because if the government won't pay for it, then the community has to come together. And that's what I do in these times, is when I get mad about things I can't control, I find something I can control. DonorsChoose.org. Yeah.
I noticed you did not donate to my MOS log cabin building channel on YouTube.
I guess
So
you
I guess
show
you
up
just-
under
you meant to? Did you
the
pin-
low economic.
Did you put a pin in it? And you're gonna circle back later and maybe throw a couple of bucks at it?
I'll do that. Did you send me the link?
Thank you very. That's to be coming later. I haven't.
Oh,
done
so
it.
you haven't done it yet?
No.
No.
No. We'll talk about it later.
Is this about the thing I said on the plane?
No, it is cool though. It is cool.
I guess, thanks for coming out. We're gonna end with this last question is, what's the first thing you do when you guys get home from after a convention?
What is what?
The thing on the plane.
What thing on the plane?
Earlier, I heard you talking about this thing on the plane.
It's not ringing a bell.
Sitting on a plane or singing on a plane?
Singing on the plane. Singing on the plane.
That's not right.
As a general rule, I try not to sing on a plane.
Yeah, they don't like
More
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah. We try not to
Ask
sing.
another question.
it.
Not.
Perhaps you have another question you would like to
You have
ask.
another question? Yeah, which of those alligators is the most pretty alligator?
They're all pretty in their own way. Who am I to deign what beauty is? I'm yellow. And if yellow is your favorite color, this is the pretty one, right? Yeah? I think you're very pretty. Thank you.
For the record, those are dinosaurs.
Okay.
David Kaufman improvising, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't believe we were all here for this moment.
Okay. So I thought about this. So what's it like traveling to other states for conventions such as this one?
Cool.
I always feel bad because people are always coming up to me and they're like, how are you enjoying
Our fair city. And we just
insert town
see
name
this.
here.
This is it. This is it.
And I'm like, well, I have seen the airport and I have seen this convention center room and it looks a lot like the other convention center rooms. They all have the same fluorescent lighting that makes me look like I have giant bags under my eyes when you take photos.
I know. It's really true.
I know that I collect fridge magnets, so it's awesome for that. I'm not even joking. Yeah, I'm
I know,
going to Cheyenne, Wyoming soon, right? I can be there too?
Yeah.
That's gonna
Yeah.
be a bitchin' fridge magnet.
Yeah, that'd be cool, yeah.
So I feel bad because like unless it's I usually fly out with enough time to be there and then get back because I want to make sure I have time to do auditions and more importantly I want as much time with my family as I can get while I can get it, and so I usually go and come right back. I don't linger unless it's someplace like Hawaii, you know.
Yeah.
No, I gotta turn down a free ticket to Hawaii.
I am going to be in New Orleans in November, and I've never been there, and so that is the first time I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to go out like 4 or 5 days
Oh,
early.
hang out with us, because our kid went to school there for 5 years, coming up on 5 years, and we love New Orleans. Yeah.
Oh, are you going to be there?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm having dinner with
go have dinner.
I'm having dinner with Dameon in Wyoming and dinner with you in New
Okay,
Orleans.
Hey,
Well,
hey,
why don't
Richard,
you-
who's your agent?
Let's work out a schedule right
Yeah.
now.
Who's yours?
Yeah, so, true, I agree. Like, I wish I was able to, like, I was in Colorado Springs one time, and I wished I could have hiked there. There's a lot of cities
There are
would love to
cities.
see.
I really like Boston. Sorry if that offends anybody here. I never know. Like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, this thing. They're like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought we were all in the same country. But I really like Boston. It's one of my favorite cities to be in. I usually don't get to see much of it, but I always try to make an effort to go to the Oyster House there. Yeah, it's like the oldest restaurant in Boston. JFK ate there. I don't know why it sounds like that, but they do.
Be more like a ramite, like a oyster.
Do you like the clam chowder? But yeah, so I like Boston. But yeah, like most of the time, it's fun. But I don't even really know what time zone I'm in half the time. I'm like, what time is it back home?
That's wicked cool.
It's wicked cool.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to Minneapolis too.
Yeah, everyone's like, thank you for coming here. I'm like, is there something I don't know? Like,
It's boring here except for
I
you
was
guys.
like, you're welcome. Like,
We don't have like a lot of people come here, so it's like, oh my god, it's Hi.
I was like, I can't believe you're coming to Minneapolis. I'm like, what do you know that I don't?
Well, Mary Tyler Moore came here.
That's true.
So did Lou Grant. And Marie. And
You're
of
gonna,
course-
Richard,
yeah.
you gotta update this stuff.
I know. Yeah.
There was just, I know, everybody was looking with these blank faces of, who are you talking about?
the world on
With a smile.
You can take a nothing.
Are we the only ones? I feel
I
so
can-
old.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
I can save this. I can save this. Sunny Straight will be here in November. Who's excited about Sunny Straight being here? Yeah. See, I saved it.
So is there any pre-existing characters or archetypes that you haven't played before that you still dream of playing?
I just want you to know that as a type 1 diabetic, I've dealt with so much insurance that when you said pre-existing, I almost immediately, it was like conditions? I was like, I don't know if I can tell you that legally. Sorry, so pre-existing characters or roles. I mean...
Doc Holliday and Tombstone.
Oh, Doc Holliday.
Except I'm not even remotely good enough to be able to do that. But yeah.
I have a hard time answering that question because usually I like those characters because of the person who brought them to life, you know? But so I like to say, like, if there were a reboot of My Little Pony, I would love to be Pinkie Pie. Thank you.
For me, there's only one person that I ever like really there's three people that I absolutely idolize.
Am I one of them?
You weren't born yet.
Oh.
But Dawn Adams from Get Smart was my absolute favorite growing up. If you've never watched Get Smart, go back and watch it. It was created by Mel Brooks and Buck Henry. Dawn Adams was like by that much. So my Daggett from Angry Beavers was a cross between Lou Costello, which is actually just Tyne Daly, if you don't know who that is. It's like Lou Costello is a combination of Tyne Daly and Nathan Lane. I am a New York City cop, Christine. But that was my Daggett, but my delivery was... Yeah,
That is funny. That is very funny.
No one knows who that is.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
That was really good.
Kristen always tells me, you gotta get some new references. But the other one was Tom Jones, who's still performing today at 85 or 86 years old. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. So that, I love him, especially that I get to work in music, because I started in musical theater. And I'm now working on a musical theater production with Has-Been. Everyone is like the stars of Broadway in that. It's Alex Brightman from Beetlejuice and James Iglehart from Aladdin and on, and Christian Borles and on and on. So those are I'm not an archetype type person. I don't look in terms of archetypes. And the reason for that is that then we put ourselves in a box. Like for me, like people say, well, what's your character? So I'm usually the neurotic woodland creature or maniacal alien. That's like my zone, right? But I do other things. I was also Jimmy on Static Shock, where I brought a gun to school, which wouldn't be a typical archetype for me. But so I try not to think in terms of archetypes. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. I just do whatever is fun. That's my thing, where I get to play pretend and play pretend fully is my total reason for taking work.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do drug stuff. And I was like, free t-shirt, score.
Our teachers were allowed to hit us.
Yeah, they used to do this to me while I was stoned, so it was perfect.
Our principal had a paddle. So, like, that he kept. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, they were
Times.
fully allowed to just belt us. It was crazy.
Wow, I love how we're here talking about. I went to Catholic school. Let's just be real. Yeah,
Forget it.
So they were allowed to rule.
There was a.
right?
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm telling this story, but I'll just tell it. There was a girl in my class named Angel O'Brien, and she had super long hair. And Sister Theon said, Angel O'Brien, if you touch that and play with your hair one more time, I'm cutting it off. And she did, and Sister chased her around the room, and she ran out of the principal's office.
Oh my God,
True
poor
story.
Angel.
True story, poor Angel.
In all fairness, Angel is in hell now. So I mean, you can't blame Sister for that.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
I want to tell everybody about.
No,
real quick. No, we have to listen to Angel's story. Listen. So, because I grew up in the 80s and the 90s too. My mom had a paddle but the paddle had like a victim list on the back of it. Like it had our names and like how old we were the first time we all got paddled. And so like, I started like 4, you guys, because I was a miscreant. But even my mom was on there. Like it was like
Yeah.
Cindy, 36. So
Names of the fallen.
Here's Kristen's umbilical cord. Here's her baby teeth, and here's the first time I abused her.
anyway, I'm an actor now. I obviously don't have any issues.
Which character of yours that you've played would you have be a Sailor Scout, and Richard, if yours is Invader Zim, would Gur also be one?
A Sailor Scout.
Wouldn't Gur be like the cats?
Yeah. Sailor Moon. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sailor Scout. Yeah. It would probably be Moxie, to be honest with you. And Gur would also be, well, you could have Gur or Nifty, and Gur and Nifty would be that. Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an easier question for me.
What's a Sailor
It's a Sailor Moon. It's
Sailor
it's a
Moon?
Sailor Moon. It's the Sailor
Okay, I don't know
Moon.
Sailor Moon.
It's Sailor Moon. They wear like sailor outfits.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
and,
okay. Which would be...
They fight evil by moonlight,
Oh.
and they find love by daylight.
Okay. You go.
Okay. I mean, I think Maline would make a really great Sailor Scout. You know, in the kind of way that like she would one-shot all of the villains because she's so strong. But she wouldn't like know. She'd be like, "Oops," and then she'd like go on with her day. You know, and then off to find love by daylight, I guess. Hello.
It's weird because it just said your mom.
My mom, my wife.
I think handsome.
What the hell's going on?
I think handsome Jack would be a great
I can't
tuxedo
remember.
mask.
I'm not gonna lie. What was the question again?
Which of your characters that you've played
Yeah.
would be a Sailor Scout?
Yeah, you see, I wish I knew what Sailor Scout was.
So they fight evil by moonlight.
Yeah.
And then they find love by
Oh
daylight.
yeah.
I watch shows about subsistence living and building log cabins. And I wish I was joking. Like if a new season of Alone comes out, I've never been happier. Yeah. So sorry that Sailor Moon reference kind of went over my head a little
They're
bit.
always ready for the good fight.
But I like Richard's answer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and piggyback on that. Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same thing. I don't know if any of my characters would be... I don't know.
Just go with Richard's answer.
Yeah, go with Richard's answer.
Basically Danny, but with a magical girl.
I kind of thought, well, okay, and because I kind of kept thinking like, I keep bringing up Danny Phantom, but probably, I guess it probably would be Danny. I mean, because there's this whole kind of subculture about like, you know, of Danny in terms of non-binary and there's trans, and there's, I think Danny's character would fit into that well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my question is, all of you have a voice or a character that is, for all of us nostalgic millennials who want to relive the 90s and early 2000s, iconic, memorable. It is something that changed our lives. I know I told David the other day, the only reason I'm in Minnesota is because I met my friend talking about Danny Phantom on Tumblr. So for you guys, what is it like to have this iconic voice that everyone is just so enamored by?
My key is that I don't think I have an iconic anything, so I can't ever have feelings about it. I just show up, and then people are like, "Wow," and I'm like, "Yeah, I have to poop. I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta go right now," and they're like, "Wow, it's just like us for real."
That is iconic. She just pooped. It's iconic.
Some highbrow stuff up here.
Yeah.
Really, turn it south quick.
South. There you go. I like South.
Yeah, I don't feel iconic, so I don't really have a feeling about it.
For me, I think that I think most of us up here can agree that we're just kind of living our lives and going through our careers, and we just kind of like go to the next job, hope for the next job, and you just kind of keep building a catalog of things that you're not really thinking of in the moment as iconic. And then you get 30 to 40 years down the road in your career, and then suddenly it's like, oh, people show up this, oh my gosh, like some people grew up on Invader Zim, whereas the next generation grew up on Chaos. So like if you see anything I post, people go, that's not Invader Zim, that's Chaos. Well, yeah, it's just kind of the same voice. But I don't think in terms of being iconic. I think in terms of being very grateful at this stage in my life and career that those shows meant something to somebody.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean, I never really think of it as myself as like I did something amazing, I did something iconic, but at the same time, I can relate to it because I felt that way about people that I met as I was just starting out, and that I was stunned that I got to work with or that I got to meet, and so then I sort of realized like, well, what I'm experiencing is the same thing that they're experiencing about the work that I'm doing. So I can understand it, and then I'm really grateful for it, and it feels really
It's like
cool.
the first time you met Lou Ferrigno or Kevin Sorbo or Lucy Lawless at a con, you're like, this is crazy, right? It's like, yeah, it's the same kind of thing, but they're also, like David said, was just living their lives, right?
Yeah, I mean, like like I said, had done a lot of on-camera stuff, and I grew up when I was a kid watching Little House on the Prairie, and watched it every single week, and like my family loved it and everything. And then when I was first starting out in the business, it was the very last season of Little House on the Prairie, and I had an audition for it because the kid who was playing, it's kind of a long story, but the kid who was playing Victor French's son, they were bringing it back. So those characters back, Kyle Richards' character, and they were bringing
It was Kyle and Jason Bateman, right? Wasn't that the two of them?
No, Jason played another character.
Oh, okay.
This other kid, that played Kyle's brother, and they had recast him. And so I went in and I got to audition right in front of Michael Landon. I booked it. Then I ended up doing a couple episodes of Highway to Heaven, and I did an episode of Father Murphy. So I ended up working for Michael Landon a few times, and it was crazy because I was like, I was so enamored when I was a kid watching him, like watching Pa from Little House on the Prairie, and then all of a sudden I'm getting to work with him, and I had to see him in a different way. I had to see him as a co-worker. As a contemporary, and I had to sort of set my awe aside and work with him. So, but I understand that. Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like your answer was so much better than mine.
No, I always feel like my answers are terrible.
No.
I'm feeling good about what I'm doing up here right now, thanks to you. So that's how that's
Good.
going. Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
I'm here for a reason. I'm here for you, man.
Hi guys. My question for you all is, what were some moments of you like riffing or improving that ended up kind of making their way into the final product of a show or game you were a part of?
Probably half of Borderlands.
My answer was also going to be Borderlands.
Yeah, they let us do some pretty wacky stuff on that.
In Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, if you play the quest Farmer's Ardor, I play Flora. They asked if she could have you said she's a farmer. I said, do you want her to have a southern accent? They're like, maybe a slight one. I'm like, listen, I grew up in East Tennessee, so it's going to be all or nothing. And they're like, well, what would it sound like? And I'm like, well, it sounds like this. Like, well, hey there, my lord. And they were like, we love it. And I was like, great. So she's got this real thick southern accent. And she's like, how? I crashed my herb garden. But there was a point where she has to go through all this stuff to attract a goblin, because the person she's in love with will only date her if she can get a polka-dotted goblin to spout poetry. So she has to do all this stuff, and you have to help her find a goblin that can, spout poetry. And one of them is that you have to get the musk of a goblin and put it into this like plumbing system so that it'll shoot up like a spray into the air and then attract a goblin. And so they're like, yeah, you know, so you just gotta like kind of, you gotta get the musk out there. And I was like, all right, so we're gonna turn on the musk showers. And they were like, oh, we love that. Can we use that? Let's put it in there. And so in that you hear me say, release the musk shower. And that's just me. That was just something I came up with. I'm sure you have a lot more than that. My quest wasn't very long. So that's my contribution to society.
I got to improvise up a storm in all of my shows. I'm very lucky. But particularly in Billy and Mandy, I did a lot of improvising there because I did these long, rambling things and I would throw things in. But the one I remember the most was that we did a thing called Billy and Mandy's Big Boogie Adventure. It was like an hour special. And there was a song in it called Scary. It goes, Scary-o, scary-o, I'm skipping out baby though. And it gets to this break, and I couldn't wait to it because it's supposed to be like an 80s hair band singer, right? And I thought I was gonna get to do it. But when I got there, they had hired like an 80s hair band singer to do that part, and I was really upset. And I said to the creator, I said, you know, I thought, you know, Billy gets to do his own like break in the song. He goes, well, if there's time before lunch, we'll let you do a pass at it. I'm like, great. So it's going on and on. We're running late. It's like it's break time. Then it's time to take lunch. And they're like, okay, you can do one pass at it. So Billy, he goes, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm just really, really hungry. I want a sandwich. Because it was lunchtime, right? So they ended up not... Poor guy, he didn't get used in the break, but that's what ended up in the song. And the creator said, yeah, that's more Billy-like. And then Invader Zim, there was a ton of stuff. The top two that I remember was in the very first pilot episode. It was like, Invader's blood marches through my veins like radioactive rubber ants was what was written, but I accidentally said like radioactive rubber pants. And they kept that in. And then in the Enter the Florpus one, it's like, Zim is chasing Dib over the planets, and he's like, the line was just, you're ugly when you lie, Dib! And it ended at, I'm not ugly, but I said, then why are you ugly? And that ended up in there. So yeah, there's always just fun stuff we have to do. Yeah.
I almost never improv. I honestly, like, again, like, I came from this, like, doing theater when I was a kid and in high school and in college. It was the script. Like, you don't change a line of Neil Simon. You don't change a word of Shakespeare. You don't change the script. So I was always, that was so ingrained in me that that was just who I was. And I would, and then when I would get in these sessions, when I started doing a lot of animation, I would get in these sessions with Rob Paulson and people, and Gray Delisle, and all of a sudden, all this great, like, funny, like, crazy improv would be going on. Literally, you guys, honestly, I'd be sitting there like this. Thinking it was hilarious, like, these people are really funny. And of course, the funnier they were, the more I was like, I can't say a word because I will not be funny. So I would like panic about it. So I'm in total awe of like people who can just like the Richard, that you can do that. You can just rip and go off and just like write like that right off the.
Here's the funniest part of what David just said. So David was saying that you don't mess with the playwright's words, blah blah blah. My wife, who is here in the audience, is a playwright and screenwriter. And as David was going, yeah, you don't improve on Neil Simon. You're right. My wife's sitting there going, yes.
The writers, exactly. The writer's like, he's right. You don't change our words.
Yeah. Well, she married the right guy then.
Questions.
Everyone forfeits their question now.
Oh, it was now or never. Sorry, guys.
I'm going to completely take over this panel. No. And I asked beforehand, but is it okay if I take a video of your guys' response?
I need to know what the question is before I can agree to that.
That's totally fair.
This is not my first rodeo.
I was wondering, what is some of your guys' most memorable episodes that you've worked on from series that you've worked on? And it can be animation, live action, whatever.
Okay. as a group, do we consent to this video recording? Yeah?
Oh God, I think that ship sailed, dude. I see like a bunch of cameras out here.
But I appreciate, and I
appreciate it too.
I want to reward the asking of the permission, because that's how it's done.
We're gonna have to get your phone later and just erase everything that you've recorded.
Sure.
They'll believe you. That sure doesn't mean anything.
I'll start at this end, and my answer is I have the great fortune of voice directing both Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss. So some of my favorite scenes are ones that I am not in, but like I love in Hell of a Boss. I love the Octavia and Luna scene in the Brandon Ragers episode. In my own work, I like Drunk Moxie. That's one of my favorite scenes. In Invader Zim, there's just so many that I love. But Planet Jackers and Grr, why was there bacon in the soap is probably my favorite line ever.
Oh gosh, favorite. I feel like my favorite episodes are always the ones that are like dark, because that's where you get to do the really cool like serious acting, and you get to dig really deep. Usually when I'm acting, especially like for anime, it's things like, oh no, I tripped and fell onto you. You know, and so it's really nice to be able to do something a little bit more meaningful. So I really liked episode 6 and 7 of Oshi no Ko. If you watched it.
Isn't that how you and Cliff met, by the way?
No, I tripped and fell onto him. Oh no. It's not too dissimilar. No, that's not true. We did need to work though. So yeah, 6 and 7 of Oshi no Ko, they're pretty dark. They deal with bullying and suicidal thoughts, which I always feel like is a really important thing to address, especially anime is really good about addressing things like that, and mental health and self-care. One of my favorite lines I ever said was from a series called The Hopeful Fox Senko, which is a show all about mental health and self-care, which I wish we had more of. But the line is, just because others have it worse doesn't make your feelings less valid. I want you to share your feelings with me, like, no matter what. And I always thought that was a really powerful line, because we all have that moment of like, man, my day sucked. I stubbed my toe and I overcooked my lunch and I got a speeding ticket. What a horrible day. And someone else is like, girl, there's starving children in Africa. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm such a bad person. But that doesn't mean that your day didn't suck. You know, your day still sucked. For you, your day sucked. So your feelings are still valid. So I think that's a really important thing to just know, like, that you can feel that way even if somebody else is going through worse things.
I disagree.
Yeah? Is this about the thing I said on the plane? I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
We don't need to go into it.
What was it like?
You know what? I guess some of my favorite episodes of I'll reference Danny Phantom, I guess. So many of the animated shows that I guess a lot of us get to work on, the episodes tend to be they're silly and they're wacky and they're funny and they're crazy and there's a lot of humor in them. But I'm sort of building on what you mentioned about. No, you don't have to talk.
I love that you still have a puppet on your hand. You're not talking. Yeah.
Sort of building on what you said. Is the episodes that were more relationship oriented, and that was one of the cool things I found about Dating Phantom as a series, that each episode, while it could live on its own, there was a really great through line that went from the first episode to the final episode, which I guess it was the final episode. I don't know. I'm always thinking maybe it wasn't the final episode, but so far it's been the final episode. But so episodes like Parental Bonding, where there was storylines having to do with Danny and his mom, problems that they were having, and that they come together. There doesn't seem to be a lot of that in animation, or at least a lot of the animation I had worked on. So it was cool to do storylines that had more meaning to people and addressed, I guess, issues and friendships that we all experience, and maybe brought the people watching that episode some solace in something that they may be experiencing in their life. Even though I know it's an animated show, I liked bringing that sense of grounded reality to it. I always approach everything I did, no matter what the animation I did. I started out as an on-camera actor, and I've done mostly on-camera acting, so I still approach all my animation work primarily from, like, I guess, the inside out, if we're gonna get kind of actor-y talk about it. More inside out, as opposed to, like, thinking, like, what kind of voice am I gonna use for this, and discovering it that way. I think of it more relationship-oriented, and what does this character want, and who are they talking to, and building the character that way. So my characters tend to be more grounded, I think, in that sense. So.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, very grounded.
I like pie.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that in my house.
Am I the only one that suffered the 80s up here at all?
Suffered the
Gen
80s?
X,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
David and I go back 40 years.
Oh, right, right. So we come from the walk-off
Yeah, me too.
generation, right? You guys are being all mushy about everything. I'm numb emotionally to pretty much everything. Drinking from water hoses to 10 p.m. commercials of, do you know where your children are?
Yes, exactly.
My mom's like, still outside.
Unless your
She'll come
leg's
home
broken,
eventually.
I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, just say no.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah. So what are we saying no to? I think a lot of the characters probably that I do reflect that. I think one of my favorites is Handsome Jack, where it's just like he takes nothing seriously and he's evil. So I just like, I think I can't think of an episode, but by and large characters that are maybe misunderstood, and I like comedy, and I play pretty much all villains. Gen X, really, yeah. It's like, do your worst.
Does anyone here have a DARE shirt? A DARE to keep kids off drugs shirt?
Lord.
I
Who
do.
knows who Nancy Reagan is? Anyone? Okay, there we go.
I have a Hands Across America t-shirt.
Look, they used to come to
Yeah.
the school and you got a serious. Planes are disgusting.
I don't answer my phone
Yeah.
for a good half a day.
Are you talking about like when we get home?
As soon as you get home, like, what's the first thing you do?
Oh, well, I let my
play-
dogs out of
I play
their
with my
crate.
dog, yeah.
It's so funny you say that. Yeah, like the first thing of my cat and my dog are gonna come running up before anybody else gets to me. My wife, or my son's, he's not home right now. But yeah, the dog and the cat will be the first at the door, and so.
We take care of the pets. We have a pet sitter, and they usually leave a few hours before we get home, so our dogs will be crated. But we'll come in and they'll be barking from upstairs, and we're like, oh, woo, 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 back. We go up there and we let them out and pet them and feed them.
My dog actually has made dinner for us by the time we get
Wow.
poured us a nice glass of wine. She got a little doggy apron on that says "Kiss the dog."
Well, tell
Yes, exactly.
your fur babies that we all said hi.
All right, we will do
Thank you
that.
for coming out to Big Minneapolis.